you. This is Ashutosh. As you know, we meet every Sunday, 9 a.m. US Eastern, and we learn various topics in Hindi language. For those of you who are joining new or who are new to Hindi University, you can find more about us by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hindi University, and you will find various interactive sessions, over 400 Hindi interactive sessions. Okay. As you know that lately we've been discussing a new topic, which is basically irregular verbs in Hindi. Unlike English and other languages, we have limited set of irregular verbs. Okay, and so far we've covered a few of them. We've discussed hona, okay, and how hona is used in the past tense and the variations of hona. Okay, we also learned some of the popular phrases, which you can say where you have hona as a irregular verb. 2 weeks ago we picked up the topic, like for the irregular verb called karna. Okay, karna means to do, and how the verb changes in the past tense based on the noun that you're using, whether it's masculine or feminine. So we will continue to build on top of it in this class using various examples. Okay. So as always, you have a chat box or comments on Facebook, so you can always ask questions, which makes it a little bit more interactive. So with that in mind, I'm going to take a quick pause to just make sure that the audio is clear on the Facebook as well. So for folks who are watching live on Facebook, just give me a quick thumbs up just to make sure that the audio is coming properly and you can hear me okay. Okay. Is the audio okay on Facebook? Okay, perfect. All right, so let's get started. So how have we structured the class today? As the initial first 15 minutes, we will do the recap of Karna. Okay. So in the first 15 minutes, we'll do a recap of it. Okay. And in the second half, we will do how Karna or the variations of Karna are used with interrogatives. Hindi interrogatives. Okay. After that, we are using some vocabulary, small set of vocabulary, using basically which will help you uh, in the fourth section. In the fourth section, we have a Hindi conversation or a story. So in this particular part, you will see that the two girls or two ladies, Sarah and Megan, they're talking to each other about their weekend and what they did on the weekend. Okay. So as always, feel free to ask any questions you may have. Okay. So let's get started with the first section. So as you guys, some of you may recall who joined the last class that when we started, we said when you're using karna in the present tense, it will be rather simpler, right? I mean, you will say karta hu, karti hu, karte hain. Okay. However, when you're using karna in past tense, there are four different forms that can be used. If you guys can recall it, you feel free to go ahead and write them down. Okay. So the first one I had was Kia. Okay, it basically, the car model. You pretty much pronounce like that, Kia, and that's how you write it, Kia. Okay, and you use Kia whenever you're, the noun or the subject that you have, it's masculine, singular. Okay, the second one that we have is Kie. Kie. Okay, and kiye, you write it like this in Devanagari: K with half e, and small e, and then a. And this is basically whenever your subject or noun is masculine, plural. Okay, then you have ki. The way you write it is you have a k with bada e. Okay, and you use it whenever your subject or noun is feminine, singular. Okay, and the last one is ki, which is nothing but the same and as dot or nasalized sound as well. So just give me 1 minute. Um, okay, with key with the dot here, so which is nasalized sound. And here basically the concept is that you'll be using it for feminine plural. Okay, so last class we also learned about how to identify whether the noun you're using is a masculine or feminine, and some ways to figure out whether they are singular or plural, which can help you determine which form of Kia or Karna you should be using in the past tense. Okay, so some of the examples, we'll do a recap of examples as well, and also the popular, popular phrases. So if you recall, um, you know, if you recall from last part, you can say मैंने dance किया. Okay, I performed a dance. Okay, and you're using kiya because dance is considered masculine singular. That's why you're using मैंने dance किया or मैंने homework किया or मैंने email किया. Okay, the second one we did was kiye, and this is just a quick recap so that you can all follow along in case if you missed the last class. Okay, the next one I have is मैंने. That for example you want to say I cleaned my clothes. Okay, so मैंने कपड़े, plural clothes, right? मैंने कपड़े साफ. कपड़े is again plural and it's masculine, and you will say मैंने कपड़े साफ किए. I cleaned my clothes or I washed my clothes. Okay, uh, one example for की was मैंने. Okay, for example you want to say I helped my friend. Okay, मैंने दोस्तों की मदद. And like I said, mother is feminine singular. So you will use की. मैंने दोस्तों की मदद की. Or if you are not comfortable with putting, दोस्तों की, you can say मैंने मदद की. I helped. Okay. And the question was, who did you help? आपने किसकी मदद की? Okay. Then you can say मैंने दोस्तों की मदद की with the help of a postposition. Okay. So that's the example of how to use a karna in the in the past tense when there is a when the subject or the noun that you have is masculine, feminine, singular. Okay, and the last one was like how to say this one keen. And let's say you want to say that I chit chatted, right? So मैंने बातें, and then you're saying कि I basically chit chatted with my friends. मैंने बातें की, and बातें is nothing but gossip or chat. Okay, it's considered feminine or plural. मैंने बातें की. So we did many more examples for each of those. If you need really some more examples, feel free to watch out the older video from last week. This week will build on top of it, especially whenever you're learning irregular verbs. It's very powerful. They're very powerful verbs, and you should really know how to use interrogatives also along with that. So I'm gonna go over that in this class to kind of tell you how you can make many more sentences using interrogatives. Okay, so just remember this table, at least have the visual picture of it in front of you when we are making these sentences. Okay, so the first one I have, as you know, is Kia. And for those of you who are already familiar with Hindi interrogatives, so we have covered several of them, right? Which is Kab. Kab is nothing but when, you know, the way you write it is Kab, and it means when. You have a Kyun. Kyun is why. Okay, so I'm going to just cover some of them in this class to give you an idea about how to use these interrogatives. Okay, next one is Kaha, and you will write it as Ka with Ha, which is where. Okay, and the fourth one I have is Kaise. Kaise. Do you recall how you can? Just 1 minute so I can unmute. Okay, so this one is nothing but interrogative is Kaise, which is, sorry, Kaise is how. Okay, and then we've not done Kya. Kya is half ka and then Ya. Kya is what? Okay, so there can be many more, but I'm going to show you how to use these interrogatives with this irregular verb called karna. Okay, and how you can make many more powerful sentences. To give you a gist of it, remember when we were learning hona and we used hona in the past tense, like kya hua, what happened. Very simple sentence, only two words are there, what happened, but you can use that very commonly. Okay, and then kaise hua, how did it happen, or kyo hua, why did this happen. So you see, like only two letters are used in the sentence, but it conveys a lot of meaning, and you can have a meaningful conversation with the person. So let's see how we can use all these interrogatives or some of them with uh, with the past form of karna. Okay, so let's see. We do this one. Um, so examples. So let's say the scenario here is you want to ask to your friend what did you do. So I mean the we'll jump to the next one, but essentially you're trying to ask them what did you do over the weekend. Okay, I want you to take a pause, and before I give you the answer, tell me how will you say that in Hindi. You know how to say this interrogatives, what to do is karna, and right now it is used in the past tense. Okay, so there will be one form of karna. Okay, so I want you to take it as an exercise and tell me how will you ask your friend what they did over the weekend. Okay, so and for folks who are watching on live on Facebook, I want you to do the same exercise as well. A very simple exercise. You want to translate, or you want to say how what did you do in Hindi. There's no negative marking, so feel free to take a risk. Okay, very good. That's a very good try. So if you remember, I also mentioned in the last class that karna is also a transitive verb. So when you're using karna in the past tense, you will see that in all the sentences you will see a postposition called ne with the subject. Now write it again. You remember that? So with all the pronouns, or subject that you have, you will be using ne with that. Okay, and right now pronoun here is you is nothing but aap, right? Hopefully that gives you a lot of hint. Okay, I'll help you out. Okay. So as you know, again, you can see that your, the verb will be some form of karna in the past, and your pronoun is aap. Okay, and because karna is a transitive verb, when it is used in the past tense, you will have postposition called ne. So you will say आपने and then what? आपने क्या किया? आपने क्या किया? Okay. Um, Let me erase this side. Hopefully you've written it down so I can use the whiteboard. Okay. आपने क्या किया? So what did you do? Okay. And the way you write it in Devanagari, you have a followed by ne, and then you will have a kya and then kiya. Okay, आपने क्या किया? Very good, right? And so hopefully this is easier. Now it's a very common question, like especially when you're going to office or anywhere at your work on Monday. Very common question that your colleagues or coworkers can ask. What did you do over the weekend, right? So the next thing is how do you say same thing but over the weekend? So we can discuss that. What did you do on weekend or over the weekend? आपने nothing. The basic structure will remain the same, and you will just say आपने weekend पे क्या किया. Okay, don't worry about the Hindi word for weekend. When we do the vocabulary section, we will do that. But I just want to give you the conceptual understanding of of the sentence. So you see, it was very simple. You're still using the past form of karna, okay, but you just have the interrogative here, which we didn't do last class in the last class. Okay, so I hope it's a complicated sentence if you look at it, but still to kind of come up with it is still simple. Okay, now let's say you want to ask your friend another exercise for you. Okay, let's say one of our friends, she is traveling or she just came back from France. Okay, and I want to ask them in Hindi, what did you do in France? Okay, simple sentence, right? And it's a very common question that I'm going to ask my friend, especially if they came back from a different country. Now, again, a quiz for you. How do you say that in Hindi? So I think it should be rather simple for you guys because we have done just now one exercise. So I'm going to give you a chance. A quick correction on the Facebook side. You will not put hai at the end because it's basically the sentence itself in the past tense. Okay, so we will not say आपने क्या किया है. Especially if it is like past indefinite. Very good, right? So you will say it as आपने in France, right? So आपने France में and then क्या किया? Simple, right? So in Devanagari, for those of you, sometimes I don't write too much in Devanagari, but oftentimes in the comments I get that you please write more and more in Devanagari. So there's an interesting way you write in Hindi. You write France, right? And अपने France में क्या? And I also learned like the way you say France in Hindi, it's different. Like I find it different, and in fact, it is different when Anya say because she's French, right? When she says France, it's different. So I don't think we can have a one-to-one translation. I don't know if I can really write the actual pronunciation of France in Hindi, but this is how it is written in the textbooks. Okay, आपने फ्रांस में क्या किया? Okay, so I hope this is helpful. Um, Now let's use you know another post position here. Okay, so let's say this time it's basically why. Why is nothing but Q. Okay, so now I let's say I'm really mad at my let's say colleague or someone, and I want to really question them that why did you do this? Why did you do this? Again, I want you before I give you the answer, I want you to translate that. Or how do you say that in Hindi? So, Elena, your sentence is correct, but you will say आपने फ्रांस में क्या किया? Okay. So there will be a basically a post position. In France is France में. In Delhi is Delhi में. Okay. In house is घर में or house में. Okay. So I hope that is clear. So again, take a chance and how do you say this thing? Why did you do this? Very good. आपने क्यों किया? Okay. So the base sentence is correct. You know that why is nothing but क्यों, and your subject is still uh, a pronoun is still you, right? So आपने क्यों किया? आपने क्यों किया? But you see, we have something interesting here. This, like, oftentimes, when we say this thing, even in English, you will say, "Why did you do this?" You will not just simply say, "Why did you do?" Okay, and this is nothing but there's something missing here, and you will say that in Hindi, "आपने ऐसा क्यों किया?" Okay, और आपने यह ऐसा is nothing but like you are basically writing the it's inflected and you're writing the inflected form of yeh, right? So you'll say आपने ऐसा क्यों किया? Okay. So I hope this is okay. Why did you do this? um, okay, so I hope this is fine. So let's go over the next one, which is, let's say, कैसा, कैसी, and कैसे. कैसा कैसी okay and कैसे. So let's say there's a scenario that you are very impressed in this case with your colleague. They came up with some innovative solution, right? And you've been trying to do this work for a while, and you couldn't do it, and they came for your rescue, and they quickly solved it, in 2 3 minutes, right? And you're like, oh, how did you do this? So that's the next sentence. How did you do this? Okay, again, try to translate that in Hindi. I hope this is helpful, using karma with interrogative, especially when we are like writing stories. Um, you will find it very helpful. Very good. Very good, right? So you'll be saying आपने, so you can say आपने कैसे किया, which is absolutely correct. आपने कैसे कैसे किया, but you want to give emphasis about something, about this. आपने ऐसे कैसे किया, और in this case you can say आपने यह कैसे किया. How did you do this? आपने यह कैसे किया. In fact, the more I think about the earlier sentence, even when you say यह, that will be grammatically correct. There's nothing wrong with it. But I've often seen people using essay also in that. So both of them are correct. Okay. So how did you do this? आपने यह कैसे किया. Okay. So I want you to look at the other forms of interrogative as well. And I want you to really see whether it fits here or not. For example, when did you do this thing, right? um, when did you complete your PhD, or when did you join this job. All these sentences can be written using interrogative and the past form of karna. So I want you to think about all those scenarios. The You have to really identify whether when did you join this job, the job, naukri, whether it's masculine or feminine. I can tell you it's feminine, right? So then you can decide whether it's singular or plural, which is in this case singular. So you can tell that आपने नौकरी कब join and then की, right? Because that is the form of karna that you'll be using, if you're if the noun is feminine singular. So I hope this is easier, and the it's getting more and more, it's getting clearer to you, um, with the repetition. Okay, so I have another small quiz before we jump onto the vocabulary part here. Okay, so small quiz for all you. Okay, okay. So, and again, your task here is to look at the sentence and really see which one will fit here. Your options are among these four. Okay, so first one is John ने stamps collect. Okay, so look at the sentence, read it again and again, and really figure out which form of karna you will be using here. Okay, collect is nothing but, for those of you who are interested, it's ikhatta. Ta tha, ikhatta. Okay, that's the first one. The second one I have is Mindy. Mindy ने सबकी बहुत मदद Okay, again, read it again and again, and tell me what will you write in the how will you write the sentence. The third one is same thing. Mindy ने सबकी मदद fill the blank और उसने दोस्तों को फोन and you have to complete that. The next one is और उसने फ्रांस की टिकट्स book. Okay, so take your time and tell me, because this is another way for me to check whether your understanding is correct or whether I need to cover or clarify anything else. All of you, please give it a try. You can simply say one and then your answer, two and then your answer, three and then whatever you choose, and I'll be able to understand it. Let me remove the confusion. You can just say mother. Okay, keep on trying. I want folks on Facebook to try as well. The first one, you can tell, uh, you know, stamps is plural. Okay, and I can also tell you stamps is masculine. Okay, um, this one we have covered it in the class, so it should be simple for you. Um, Again, this is singular, this is plural. Give it a try. Okay, let's see. Folks on Facebook, very good. Okay, all right, so let's get to it. Okay, and don't worry if you made any mistake. I just want you to just underscore your, correction, so that way it's easier for you to recall. So John ne, and you can see all of them have ne in it, right? John ne, Mindy ne, usne, and usne. All of them have ne, right? So that's one thing. The first one, right? So the first one, look at it. Stamps is basically, I told you, is it's, you can tell it's plural, right? Um, and you can ask the native speaker, क्या stamps masculine है? हाँ, ये masculine है, right? So John ने stamps collect, and whenever it is masculine plural, it's kiए. Okay. John ने stamps collect. Um, so here is the thing, right? Whenever you're using, the plural of it, you would be saying इकट्ठ. You'll not be saying इकट्ठा. You'll be saying plural of it. John ने stamps इकट्ठे किए. Okay. So that's just a correction if you were to write it in Hindi. Even this, collect. Okay. John ने stamps collect किए. Okay. However, if you're just saying one, right, um, then it will be Kia. Okay. Next one, Mindy ne sabki madad. I think we have done this one in the examples. Help is, basically ki, madad ki, feminine singular. Mindy ne sabki madad ki. Okay. If there's any confusion, you can watch last week's video. You will see that. Okay. मैंने आपकी मदद की, मैंने उसकी मदद की, मैंने सबकी मदद की. Okay. Next one is और उसने दोस्तों को फोन. Phone is basically nothing but considered masculine singular. फोन किया. Okay. फोन किया. मैंने आपको फोन किया, मैंने उसको फोन किया, मैंने मम्मी मम्मी पापा को फोन किया. Okay. The next one is you can tell it's plural tickets. और उसने फ्रांस की tickets book, and then you will say tickets is feminine, right? So you will say tickets book he. Okay. So I hope still you were able to spot any mistakes you made here. I'll take a quick pause to see if there are any questions on any of those, the four, and we can cover that before we jump on to the conversation between um, the Sarah and Mindy. uh, okay, so I think let me see. There's one correction here. I think Elena raises. She asked a very good question here. Uh, so Elena, if in case you know if I said something incorrectly, it should be decided based on your uh, uh, gender of stamps, mother, phone, and tickets. In case if I have said subject, it should be basically based on what you're using it for. Stamps collect kiye. Even if you don't have this part, right? For example, if somebody asks you like, "What did you do?" If you can just say stamps collect kiye, it basically implies that you're talking about John May or Mane. Okay, especially whenever there's a nay in the sentence. I think I clarified it in the past also. Object basically determines how the verb should be conjugated. So in case if I said subject, please correct it. And my apology, but it should be basically stamps, mother, phone, and tickets. Okay. If you follow, I think I just probably misspoke it to subject, but if you follow all the examples, the sentences are all correct, and all of them are following this as a baseline for how the word conjugation is happening. But thanks for kind of spotting it, right? Okay, good, good. Right, so let's keep going. So now what we'll do is that we'll quickly cover the vocabulary and we'll jump onto the story. Okay. Okay. So for vocabulary, I just have three. It should be a rather simple conversation, especially if you're watching it. So vocabulary, I just have three new things to add here. First one is shopping. Okay. Next one is preparation. Second. And the third one I have is weekend. Okay, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to see. For those of you who, if you already know about how do you say these words in Hindi, feel free to, take a step ahead and write it down. Otherwise, I'll help you out. Okay. Shopping in Hindi is basically kharidari. Okay, so you will write it as kha, r with e, d with a, and re, kharidari. Okay, um, kharidari. Okay, to shop, if you're saying it as a verb, it's kharidna, kharid, and then na. If you're saying it as a verb, but the act of doing this, it's kharidari. Okay, so you can say मैं कपड़े खरीदता हूँ, that I buy clothes. Okay, मैं कपड़े खरीदती हूँ, for a female. Okay, so you will just remove na and you will conjugate it based on your situation. Okay, the next one is preparation. Preparation is tayyari, and the way you write it is in Devanagari. You have a ta with a, ya with a, and then re. Tayyari, tayyari, tayyari. Okay. If you're using it as a verb, you can say tayyar karna. Okay. To dress someone else or someone, tayyar karna. Or if you're doing it yourself, it's tayyar hona. Okay. So for example, if I say मैं तैयार हो रहा हूँ, you'll remove na and I'm saying मैं तैयार हो रहा हूँ. I'm getting ready. Or मैं तैयार कर रहा हूँ. Like you are dressing someone up. Okay. Um, that's the second one for preparation. Okay. The next one is weekend. Okay. Interesting, right? How the, this, I'll tell you this one. So week is saptaha. Probably some of you already know. Saptaha. Sir, half per, ter with a and her. Saptaha. Okay. End is basically ant. Don't read it as and, it's ant. Okay. And when you're joining both of them, basically saptah plus ant, and that is what the word for weekend, saptahant. Okay, I'll write it down. So when you're joining both of them, you will say saptahant. So the end will become her plus will become r. So the way you will write it is like you will say sir and then half per, and then you already have ta, which is fine. But whenever you're using her with a sound, you will become it will become r sound. Okay, and then that you put at the end, and there's a nasalized sound already there. Okay, so saptahant. Okay, read it after me. Saptahant. Just give me 1 minute. So I hope this is clear. So now we'll jump to the conversational part. So this is the interesting part where you will see, story or conversation. Pretty much the two, women, they're talking about their weekend with each other. Pay close attention to it. I'm gonna, not speak in English. and I'm going to primarily focus on just the text that I'll be writing here. So at times it can become challenging and boring, but I want you to stay with me and read it very slowly and try to make sense of what they're talking about. I think it should be very simple for you. Okay. So again, the two women they're talking, Sarah and Megan. Okay. So the first sentence is Sarah, तुमने तुमने वीकेंड पे क्या किया? सारा, तुमने वीकेंड पे क्या किया? एंड सारा, कुछ खास कुछ खास नहीं किया यार. सो सारा saying कुछ खास नहीं किया यार. थोड़ा थोड़ा बहुत घर का काम थोड़ा बहुत घर का काम किया. ओके. थोड़ा बहुत घर का काम किया. सैटरडे को मैंने खरीदारी सैटरडे को मैंने खरीदारी की. सैटरडे को मैंने खरीदारी की और बच्चों बच्चों ने स्विमिंग बच्चों ने स्विमिंग की. बच्चों ने स्विमिंग की. संडे को दोस्तों से संडे को दोस्तों से बातें संडे को दोस्तों से बातें की. ओके. और बच्चों की होमवर्क बच्चों की होमवर्क में मदद बच्चों की होमवर्क में मदद की. ओके. द नेक्स्ट वन इज तुमने तुमने क्या किया मेगन? तुमने क्या किया मेगन? अम, मैंने टैक्सेस I'm just writing it in English. मैंने टैक्सेस फाइल किए मैंने टैक्सेस फाइल किए इंडिया की इंडिया की ट्रिप की तैयारी इंडिया की ट्रिप की तैयारी की. ओके. और ऑफिस का काम किया और ऑफिस का काम किया. Okay, I'm going to read it again very slowly, um, and then I'm going to read it like a native speaker, a little bit fast. Sarah, तुमने वीकेंड पे क्या किया? And Sarah is saying, कुछ खास नहीं किया यार, थोड़ा बहुत घर का काम किया. सैटरडे को मैंने खरीदारी की और बच्चों ने स्विमिंग की. संडे को दोस्तों से बातें की और बच्चों की होमवर्क में मदद की. तुमने क्या किया, मेगन? एंड देन मेगन से, मैंने टैक्सेस फाइल किए, इंडिया की ट्रिप की तैयारी की और ऑफिस का काम किया. Okay, now I'm going to read it fast like a native speaker. Sarah is saying, Sarah, no, Megan is saying, Sarah, तुमने वीकेंड पे क्या किया? Sarah, कुछ खास नहीं किया यार, थोड़ा बहुत घर का काम किया. सैटरडे को मैंने खरीदारी की और बच्चों ने स्विमिंग की. संडे को दोस्तों से बातें की और बच्चों की होमवर्क में मदद की. तुमने क्या किया, मेगन? मैंने टैक्सेस फाइल किए, इंडिया की ट्रिप की तैयारी की और ऑफिस का काम किया. ओके, सो आई होप it's a very easy conversation between these two ladies, Sarah and Megan. If you see it here, in each sentence there is a form of karna of past. Kiya, 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 ki, ki, again ki, किया, फाइल एक्सेस फाइल किए, इंडिया की ट्रिप की तैयारी की, एंड देन काम किया. Okay, so you can really, if you just follow last video and this video, I believe you can master, uh, the form of, karna in the past. At least you will be in a position to, like, really, when you're reading the sentence, you should be able to call it out clearly. Okay, so I'm going to take a pause to see if you have any questions before we jump on to the what are they talking about. Okay, so feel free to ask any question. Okay, any questions before we jump onto the solution? For those of you who are advanced, you can convert the whole thing into Devanagari and also send it to me, so I can use it in the, in the subtitles of the video, right? So that's for your exercise and also your contribution. So take it as a challenge. I know some of you are pretty much into it. So if no questions, what we'll do, we'll take turn, and we'll really, go over what they're talking about. So um, we'll start with you, Anyas. If you can unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. So just go
Yeah.
over the first three, sentences.
Okay. Sarah, तुमने weekend पे क्या किया? So Sarah, what did you do in your this weekend? On weekend? Sarah, कुछ खास नहीं किया यार. Not so much, my friend. थोड़ा बहुत घर का काम किया. I did all the housework.
Yeah, I just did like thoda bahut is little bit. Okay, so it's
little bit. I think
it's
it was
interesting.
all.
Like thoda is little,
Okay.
and bahut is a lot. So, but when they're using together, thoda bahut is little bit. Okay.
Okay, so I thought it was a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
so I did a little bit of housework. So I continue?
No, that's it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Good, good. So, Liz, you ready? You can unmute yourself and you can do next three.
Saturday को मैंने खरीदी की.
Saturday को मैंने खरीदारी की. Okay.
On Saturday I went shopping.
Uh-huh.
और बच्चों ने swimming की.
Okay.
And the kids went swimming.
Okay.
Sunday ko doste se bientin ki
Bateं. Okay, bateं.
bating
Yeah.
bating ki.
Mhm.
Um, on Sunday I visited with friends.
I on Sunday I what?
I visited or chatted with
Chatted.
friends.
Yeah, chatted. Chatted. Okay, Sunday को दोस्तों से बातें की. Very good. Uh, thank you. Arsh, you still there?
Mhm.
Can you hear us? Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. You want to do the next four?
Okay. और बच्चों की homework में मदद की.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I help the kids do their homework.
Okay, very good.
तुमने क्या किया, Megan? What did you do, Megan? मैंने taxes file किए.
Mm-hmm.
I filed my taxes. And India की trip की तैयार की. I planned my
I think there's missing. तैयारी की.
तैयारी की.
Mm-hmm.
I did the preparation for my India trip.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and or office का काम किया. And I also did office work.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So I think the conversation was rather simpler, as the focus was completely on the how to use the different variations of karna in the past. So I hope it was helpful for you guys. Um, I mean, my impression is like, if you don't go through this particular verb and the variation of it, properly, just imagine yourself going through the story without any context. It would have been really, really confusing that why are they using different forms of, Kia and then ki, and then, kie. And oftentimes you don't even realize that they are basically all of them are deriving from just one form, one word, which is, karna, right? So I hope, the last two videos are especially helpful in terms of understanding it. Next week we'll pick up another irregular verb. I hope, going through this irregular verb will tremendously help you, right? I mean, especially differentiate between how verb, if you think about it, when we started, like, about 9 years ago, we started with very, very simple verbs, right? And with that time, we didn't never worried about whether it's a is a transitive verb or intransitive verb. That time we never worried about whether it's a regular verb or irregular verb. We just did, we started with jana, right? To go. We didn't think about anything else like how jana will be used in the past tense, right? We never worried about gaya, right? So in retrospect, it will all make sense, but we continue to, stick together. Let me know if there are any questions, but I do want you to, prepare this, a lot more, like go over the video one more time, and let me know if there are any confusion, and we'll meet next weekend. So हम next weekend मिलेंगे. Thank you so much. I'll stop the broadcasting, and we can take any questions.